From the studios of the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, welcome to Next Level Thinking. Here are your hosts, Team APAP, St. Martin.
Hello and welcome to Next Level Thinking with your psychologist from APAP. I'm Stephanie Hassett, a psychologist working at Mental Health Foundation, and I'm here today with my two colleagues.
Hi, my name is Henriette Schreurs, and I work as an educational psychologist in 2 high schools here at St. Martin.
Honey Sheridan, a board-certified behavior analyst, work at Sweet ABA.
Yes, so this program highlights tips that help deal with the subject that matters the most, ourselves. And today we want to discuss the future, the children of St. Martin. How can we positively influence them? What can we do to help them excel to the best of their abilities? Nowadays, we're all busy trying to make ends meet, doing the best that we can for our children to get the finer things in life. But sometimes all they need from us adults is some time. Time to listen to them, but also time to nourish their minds with information. And I actually do not mean academics alone. I understand the needs of academics, and I guess we all do.
Really important.
Exactly. But, school success can help a great deal later in life, but that alone won't cut it. We know that children have to be well-rounded socially, emotionally, and psychologically. We really want to emphasize today on how can we positively influence them.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Because only with, you can have success in school without certain skills.
Exactly. It's not only, cranking down on the homework and being 24/7 working on that, getting the best grades possible and only being with your head in the books. There are other aspects as well that we really need to consider to make children well-rounded, to get them to give them other life skills. They need to know other things as well. I guess we call it streetwise sometimes. They need to be streetwise as well rather than just book smart, right?
Indeed.
One way to positively influence a child is by active listening, offering explanations. I often hear people complain about their busy children or their curious children who ask too much, or too active, exploring things that they shouldn't. However, we know that this is how children learn. They are trying to figure out the world as they go along, just like us adults, actually. But by taking the time to properly explain situations and events that happen around the child really helps that child understand social rules, standards, values, norms, and furthermore also just to listen and find out what your child's strengths are and emphasize on those. So, honey, maybe you can give us some examples or explain a little bit more about explaining to children, helping them understand the world.
Sure. And one of the things as behavior analysts is we like to make sure that parents are helping their children label their emotions. We talked in our other segment about if they were crying, well, why were you crying? What does it feel like to be sad, disappointed, frustrated, or even angry at what's going on? Maybe it's because for a little one, you don't get that certain toy that you wanted in the grocery store. Well, it's okay that you're angry right now or disappointed. And for your teens, it's also tied into so much of their social elements.
So really explaining to them what is going on inside of them. What's the name of that movie again? It just popped up in my head. There's
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
So you know what anger looks like, and you know what anger feels like.
Exactly. I really love that movie, how it explains how it works, what happens inside of a child. A child just shows the emotion the way they know how to show it, and that might not be the right way right away, but explaining that to them, as you say, honey, can really help them understand where it's coming from, what might have led to that emotion, and furthermore also how to deal with it.
You should really see that movie. Yeah. I haven't seen it.
You should. It's a very great movie. It's about this little girl with all these emotions in her head, and they have these nice shapes and colors, really bringing out, explaining how a child experiences the world. And I think we as adults, we have our own things going on, and we are so busy. And we often move so fast and quick, and we don't really take the time to sit down or sit a child down, and that doesn't have to be your own child, but, cousin, niece, nephews, anyone who we're involved with, but to sit them down and explain what's actually going on. We're always dragging them along so fast.
Of course, when you get your children, you imagine a bright future for them, and you only want good things to happen to them. But of course, in everyone's life, things happen that are not so nice, that can be difficult to deal with sometimes. So we as the adults have to show them how to deal with them, and we have to help them along the way and find a way to help them deal on their own with it. Yep.
I think that's a really good point, Henrietta, that you're saying, like, okay, we're going to help them with the process as they're going through it, sitting them down, talking with them about why they're feeling this way and what it is.
Right. And also, Henrietta, as you said, model that behavior, show them what they can do, I guess. Show them how they could deal with certain behaviors and certain things is so important.
Yeah. I know we already discussed it before in a previous episode, but yeah, I think it's really important to emphasize that it's really important to show children how to deal with certain situations. Right. That's just the key for them, how to learn that.
And how can we show them? How could we model them appropriate behavior or appropriate way to deal with an emotion?
I think as parents, we often label our emotions, and we tell our kids, like we talked about in the other segment, where you say, oh, mommy's mad right now, or mommy's frustrated. So, but then our parents, let's take it to the next level. Show your children that you know how to deal with the stress. And maybe you don't, but this is a great opportunity to model it. So taking those deep breaths right there and then in that moment so they can see, okay, this is how you handle that stress.
Right. I think we often think that children, or we expect sometimes that children know these things by themselves, and we forget that we need to give them this information and we need to show it to them. As you said, breathing in and out, just showing them, hey, how can I deal with this emotion? What can I do with this emotion? Rather than the initial, behavior that comes to mind of a child. How can we teach them, what to do? What is appropriate?
Just hearing it once won't help them. It just needs to be shown to them, a lot of times for them to be able to do it on their own.
Right.
That's an excellent point.
Right.
And doing it in the moment is really beneficial because then we'll know, okay, this is what it's like to feel frustrated, and this is how we can deal with it right now. So help your stress.
Right. What you mean with doing it in the moment is as soon as it happens, tackle it.
Yeah. Take that couple minutes and just, okay, we're going to breathe in and out. We're going to practice squeezing our imaginary lemon. Pretend you have a feather in front of you, and you're going to make it come towards you as you breathe in, and of course blow it away as you breathe out. For our little guys, that can be a really good visual example of how to actually calm yourself down.
I guess that can be difficult sometimes, though. I mean, if maybe a parent is in a grocery store with a screaming child, I know a lot of parents rather go into the car and then later in the car or later at home or reprimand, or instead of taking that time in the grocery store. How would you do that?
As embarrassing as it is to have your child having a little tantrum in front of the grocery store and having maybe your neighbors see you or your colleagues, it is so critical to do it then in the moment, because what will happen is your child grows. They'll learn, like, okay, I can calm myself down when I am feeling stressed out or nervous or upset about something. And the long term would be, wow, they're really going to be well-rounded. Like you said earlier, we want them to be well-rounded socially, emotionally, as well as psychologically.
Yeah. And on the other hand, I think it's also really important to, when they do something right, to also in the moment, on the spot, say something about that and give them compliments on what they do right.
I like how you're lining up right now. I like how you picked out what you wanted to eat for dinner.
Right. No, so that's absolutely a great point, and we're definitely gonna get back to that after the break.
Next level thinking.
Hey, prevention is the cure. Help us, we help you. Stop disease from spreading because of mosquito. I got a message for you. Say what? Please listen carefully. Listen. You can do your part to stop mosquitoes from biting me. What? Get rid of all containers. Get rid of them with water in them. Hey. Don't give mosquitoes no chance to lay eggs in them. Cause we don't want no disease. We don't want dengue. We don't want punya. This message was brought to you by the Collective Prevention Services. Remember, do your part. Let's stop disease from spreading because of mosquito.
You are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
So, Henrietta, you did an excellent point before the break about that we shouldn't only mention the negative when a child tantrum in a should also emphasize positive.
And even more important about what the child right instead of punishing for don't go right. And still he or she does and be really precise. Child cleans up its room, give a compliment and say, well, thing that you cleaned up your room, knows what he did, she the continue with.
So that, and I can imagine that their self-esteem. I mean, that you cleaned up it well, or that a room, a bedroom. Yes, you have your bed. It looks great. Great job. Can just con. Today I just catch them being. I just loved it. And I catch them being, waiting and then step in and then parent. Well, when they're doing good, when they're listening, they're paying attention, when they're doing their tasks, that,
that is so for children.
Exactly.
Validates it. We give to each other is 3-to-1 ratio, whereas are often, so we see going on in lives, but just like, let's tell them, like you said, Stephanie, catch them being so using, think about that, you could increase it as a parent.
And from the 3 times that we bad, we once for sure. It was way bigger. So we see them doing good. Them once. So to command them, actually reinforce, build them up. That's right.
To doing it and telling people what they're doing right.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important for a child, how we can make rounded. And academics is not, but child has to do a presentation at school, and they know locked their information, studied books, their presentation prep. They do not have the up in front of the class. That's so important. Their confidence, and by showing them, or hey, that's positive, that as well.
And also, mistakes is not a bad thing. You make mistakes, and it also can be really difficult, to be able to admit it to others. But it's important as parents to wrong. I mean, it's not a bad thing. You can.
That's a good point. Don't model for our kids. Kids learn like it's okay. Times where adults don't know. Okay, we have to go figure it out. Teaching your kid, it's okay. All right, we'll figure it out.
So instead of is what you're saying, that they let them know that it's okay. It's better to ask so that you can learn. As Henrietta, you said, from them, learn that it's okay to make, that they can only grow. You said, for parents also to, I think we as adults, we always on that. No, we and them as well that what we're doing, we can make some, we can have it wrong. So the positive is so important, but how can, what can we do to positively reinforce? giving high fives is, kids are just, with little ones, exactly. They just respond so well to it. And, I make them jump really high. Challenge when they also feels as an accomplishment. Honey days maybe of positive.
I wanted to also touch on using that specific phrase. I really like it, and that really make sure you know that they're doing their. I like to use stickers or sticker chart. Telling the child, well, okay, my grandpa or your aunt did this really well, so telling everyone, hey, this success, let's share it. So build that self-esteem.
For the older children?
Yes, because there's the social media. Your teens like, hey, little girl, I had this great report card, and I'm letting, and maybe it gets, have everyone like it, and can also feel valid. They can relate to.
Yeah, Henrietta, because we're only talking about praising them, but giving them compliment, verbal praise as well, just really with the teenagers. Yes. I am proud. That works.
And they can care, of course, but it's really important for them, letting them know that you are doing what goes, and to say it when you do things good.
Yeah, aspect of letting children know, giving them, presenting them, and being positive with them. Taking it a step back, before we know what they we're so used to do, but also positive instruction. This is what I expect, what I would like to see. I'm proud if you do that. It would make me very happy. Explain to them what we instead of expecting them to do and being upset with them.
Good point. Yeah.
Yes. I think it happens in schools, at home. We just expect children, and I mean, we can. They're smart, and the younger ones. It's so important that they what we expect, so that we shouldn't set them up for. I guess we should set them up. That positive, hearing positive, positivity around you builds you. It gives you energy. I mean, hearing that something that already in my bed, it starts off, and I can go into whatever I have to do that day. Do it with a little bit more.
It's important to know more, now than ever, what employment opportunities are available. Get a head start on the competition at jobopportunity.sx by ensuring that your experience, achievements, and professional aspirations are viewed by the island's employers. Create your profile, display your skills, and be informed on what jobs are available with just-in-time updates at the tip of your fingers. For more info, call 520-5279 and register now at jobopportunity.sx.
Hi, what's up, St. Martin? I'm Everett, and I play baseball. In St. Martin, in numerous and professionally, sports matters to me because correct. So I challenge the business community to step up for sports and help us rebuild and repair our facility. The community to nominate local businesses in your challenge and step up for sports. Hashtag Sports Matters.
It's hard to make big changes. The energy, time, and too great. That's why many men with their health. Prevention services men in our community to take the positive step. Schedule screening, practice a healthy, exercise regularly, and practice safe. This message is Prevention Services, the Ministry of Health.
I was deceived about the nature of my job. I was abducted and sold. All my documents were confiscated and money was withheld from me. I was isolated and confined to one area. I was forced into prostitution. I was forced to lie to authorities and my family. Now that you know, what will you do?
You can help by calling the National Reporting Bureau on Human Trafficking at 542-1553 or send email to naticotip@gmail.com. Human trafficking and exploitation. Please report it.
You are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio.
Yes, so it's so important, as we said before the break, to just positively influence children with positive reinforcement, positive words, positive actions, and instead of focusing on the bad, focusing on the good. So catch them being good, but also building their skill set, building what their strengths, not only building their self-esteem and that psychological part, but emphasizing what they're good at, figuring out what they're good at, and then emphasizing that, Henrietta. I think that's so important, right? To build their skills and strengthen them in that area.
Like you said before, we want our children to be well-rounded individuals when they grow up. So having the right skills to be able to be a successful adult in the world, you have to go to work, you have to be able to support yourself. When you have a family, you need certain skills. So there are all different kinds of skills that you would need to be able to do that in a healthy way. So for that, it's really important for us to help them to build those skills from an early age on, so that when they're getting older, they learn more and more how to do and solve their own problems themselves.
Right. There's so many more skills that come into play than just academics, right? There is sports, there is music, there is social skills, life skills that we need to also incorporate in a child's upbringing and to improve and positively influence their development. And you said, you just said, Henrietta, to do that in a healthy way. And I guess, sports is definitely a healthy and positive influencer for a child.
Yeah. Sports is good, of course, for your body, as everyone knows, and also very good for your mental health. So it's really good to process the emotions you went through in a day when you were, for example, when you got very frustrated with anything. It can be really good to use sports as a way to wind down, and to be able to process it in a healthy way.
Right. And I think sports also, not only the physical aspect, but there is a social aspect to it. If you do a team sport or if you're in a group, there is that part where a child learns social and life skills. They learn discipline. They learn to be on time, for example. They learn to follow the rules. They learn to share, play together. They learn how to deal with disappointment, with losing, with not ending a game or ending in the place that they want it to be.
Yep, you can't win all the time.
Exactly.
Yep. I think learning how to get along with your peers, that social emotional growth can happen with sports because, of course, when you're a kid, then a child, and then when you grow up and become an adult, you're going to need to figure out how to work with people. And there's all different types of personalities. And when you're in a sports group, you're going to be put on different teams and you're going to, maybe you're the forward this time and next time you're the goalie, but you learn all those different roles that can help your emotional and social development.
It can really learn for you how to go beyond your comfort zone and to learn new things, to challenge yourself. Yeah. Right.
And what I just love from sports is, okay, school, we have this big, playground and a big school setting, and sports is often the groups are a little bit smaller. So the child would get a little bit more attention. The trainer is focused on their skill. It's something that they don't necessarily need to use their brain for, but they are very active and they're paying attention, and they're just getting that constantly that positive confirmation again of, hey, you're doing well, or you're getting better, you're improving. And what I love a lesson, which is very important in sports is, the more you practice, the better you get. And it's okay to make mistakes. I feel that's such an important lesson in sports, that you're not going to be good overnight. You need to practice, you need to invest time, you need to... So also those long-term goals that kids learn that, hey, not everything happens overnight. I need to practice or work for it. And I guess that's the same with music and arts, actually. Playing an instrument can also very positively influence a child.
Yeah, in the beginning, the child playing the instrument often sounds very terrible, and parents don't really want to listen to it. But then, over time, they become really good at it. I know for myself, I learned violin, and I believe it was very painful for my entire family. But after many years, I became less like a cat screeching.
Okay. So now the violin sounds good, though.
It's better. It's not good, but better.
Okay. Yeah. As you said, honey, it's a process. I guess it's a process. Patience in giving them the time to learn, giving them the time to grow through arts, sports, and other extracurricular activities, where they can let go some of the things that they went through in school, just to process their emotions, but also to learn all of these fantastic life skills that are so important in life. I think is so important, and doing it healthy.
And they're going to get so much positive feedback from the coach about, what they're doing well, and also that constructive criticism that we all need to learn how to handle in life.
I like that you said that, because we're talking about, positive reinforcement. But you said that criticism, that is also something that is realistic, of course. We also need to hear that, hey, what you did there wasn't exactly right. And you'll need to improve or change that. And that's also so important, of course, to learn how to deal with that. How do I deal with when someone tells me, well, that wasn't exactly what I expected. I need to do it differently the next time.
Yep. In the sports situation, it's easy to kind of like, oh, it's not my grades or anything. It's just, okay, it's soccer and I can improve on that. And that will help us as an adult when our boss says, hey, I need you to do this better.
It's not about your person, but it's really about what you do during the game.
Can help a child with that emotional growth, because it's less about them.
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's so important to just, give them that time also away from what we think is most important in school. And I know I'm stressing that, but also give them time to develop them develop themselves in different areas, find different strengths. What are they good at? Is my child an artist? Do they draw? Or are they a musician? Are they an athlete? What else are they good at?
And there are so many activities available on the island. I mean, it's a small island, but there is so much that you can do, or your child. So it's really,
Definitely. Also add structure to them. Just giving them something, fills them structure. But I think